Today on Expert Showcase, Dawn Westmoreland, author of The Empowered Whistleblower, and she's going to challenge you to stop giving away your personal power. Dawn Westmoreland, welcome to Expert Showcase. We're so glad to have you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Mark. Doing great in Asheville, North Carolina.
Well, as we were saying before the show, I got to get down there and visit sometime. So Dawn, give us just a quick overview of where we're going in this episode, just so that we get everyone's brains in alignment here.
Well, where we're going is into personal power and how people give away their personal power, and it's all about empowerment.
Excellent. Okay, and we like to do things in threes, Dawn, and so we're going to give people three main takeaways here. We're going to talk a little bit about keep your power, then we're going to talk a little bit about explore coaching, and then we're going to talk about pain and suffering being optional. So let's take that from the top here. So keeping your power. Tell me a little bit about what you talk about there and what you do with the people you work with around this theme.
Well, I talk about giving away your personal power because, that's something I did most of my life, was give away my personal power. And I'll give you a good example of it. For example, people that are constantly seeking validation from other people or asking, for advice on everything, that's a way of giving away your personal power because, the bottom line, Mark, is the power is in you. The personal power is you, and all the answers are in you, and you just have to believe in yourself more than others believe in you.
Absolutely, I love it, and yeah, this is kind of an insecurity when you're constantly looking for external validation, right?
Exactly, and people pick up on that. It's all energy.
Right. You're essentially teaching people that you're not the expert when you do that, right? I mean.
Right.
So keeping your personal power, obviously a critical part of empowering yourself. Let's talk a little bit about coaching. I mean, obviously you're in the coaching field. What do you see as the value of coaching? And it should be fairly obvious to most of our audience, but let's go there.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I always say you can't afford not to have coaching. If you have a block in your life, or you feel like you're a leader in hiding. A lot of times you hear people talk about, well, I can't afford it, or they assume it's expensive. But if the issues that are going on in that person's life, are going to cost them more than coaching, they really should start thinking about the benefits of coaching and, figure out ways to come up with the money for coaching if they don't have it. Because coaching can help you, to empower you, to help you break through the blocks and, to get to your goals and your aspirations. So you cannot afford not to have coaching, is my thing.
Well, I love the way you're saying that because, I mean, there is this mental block, right? Because if I'm sitting at home or in my office or whatever, the idea of hiring a coach, my mind kind of pulls a fast one on me, right? Because I have to outlay money that's obvious to me to hire any kind of professional, whether it's a coach or somebody to come and remodel my kitchen. But if what I'm not seeing is what it's costing me in terms of not being productive, not being focused, not having a target that I'm going after, but because I don't see the dollar signs in front of my face, I think that the coaching's expensive because I'm not seeing what I'm losing by not having that investment make me more successful, right?
Yeah, sometimes I'll talk to potential clients and they'll tell me, well, they're not ready for coaching, they don't have the money yet, and then I'll check back with them, in a few months and ask them, well, how are things going? And more times than not, they're in the same predicament, the same situation. They're still that leader in hiding. They're still, being held small. Their ego's still in the way. And I'm like, well, what is this costing you?
Right. People spend a lot of time preparing to launch, right?
Yeah. And I talk about, what's important to you. I mean, I spent $25,000 on myself on coaching last year, and it really paid off. And I had to adjust, things in my budget to make it happen. But it was absolutely worth it. And it's not that hard to be able to afford coaching if there are issues, because first of all, a lot of times we hold on to things that we don't need. We can sell them. We really, there's so many ways to find the money for coaching if that ever is a question or an issue.
Yeah, it really is a matter of trying to understand the value because we all make value choices, right? The same person who says I can't afford coaching 3 weeks later might invest, you know, $15,000-$20,000 on their kitchen remodel or bath remodel because, you know, so it's not that they lack the money, it's that they probably lack the ability to put two and two together about how this is going to get me to a different place in my life where I'm going to get lots of return on that investment.
Yeah, they have to see the value in it, first of all. Yeah.
Yeah, in anything, right? I mean, none of us wants to part with money for something that does not seem valuable to us, and when we don't understand, we tend to say no, right? That's an old saying, right? The confused mind always says no. But so let's talk a little bit about pain and suffering. I love this line because it's one that I passionately believe as well. You know, pain and suffering are optional. What are you talking about here?
Well, you know, we get to choose our thoughts, and our thoughts form our belief system, as you know. And so, you know, we can think that we're victims in our life because, you know, we all have different stories. We all have different challenges. But, you know, I turn around and say, it's not a challenge, it's an opportunity. And, you know, what you consider pain or suffering could also be a gift, an ugly wrapping paper. And just realizing that something is making you miserable, uncomfortable might be what it takes to get you to move forward in the direction you need to. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I've had a lot of uncomfortability in my life, and it really pushed me forward to, you know, to take the steps that I needed to transform my life. So it was a gift, an ugly wrapping paper, but, pain and suffering is optional because it's really how you reframe your thoughts.
Yeah, and there's different qualities of pain, right? I mean, it's like if I want to get in shape and start hitting the gym, I'm going to be sore, right? But because it's pain in service of increased health, I don't frame it the same way. I don't see it as a negative. I see it as evidence of the positive that I'm growing. I'm building muscle mass, right? So it's kind of like that, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, if you go to the gym one time, you might feel good and you're all pumped up, but you keep going to the gym and boy, you come back, you're all fit, trim, muscles, if that's what you want. Yeah, you have to work on yourself.
Absolutely. And in my own world, I sort of separate them a little bit. My way of phrasing it is that pain is the part that is just part of life, but suffering is the part that's optional because that's completely mental. That's the definition you're putting on why I'm in pain or what this pain means. And that's why I say, I mean, if the pain is a growing pain, then of course I don't suffer. I value it because it shows me that I'm changing. But if I'm seeing that pain as a negative, then it becomes a suffering. It becomes I don't want this to be happening, and I just get stuck in that, right?
Yeah, our emotions can be action takers, you know. If it makes us uncomfortable, you know, or we're in pain, it's like, okay, what action can I take to get out of this emotion and to be in alignment with who I'm supposed to be on this earth? Yeah.
Excellent. Well, Dawn, you've got a book coming out very, very shortly here. Tell us a little bit about the book.
Yeah, well, it's called Empower Whistleblower, and it's a practical and spiritual path to personal freedom. And it's my journey, talking from my childhood of being disempowered, going through childhood molestation and, you know, adult, young childhood bullying, you know, being in an alcoholic marriage. Just, it's all about attracting these negative things in my life, all because I was disempowered and I had low self-esteem and I felt, you know, again, you know, very disempowered. And it takes it up to the time 3 years ago when I was a whistleblower in the Veteran Affairs, and I blew the whistle on prohibited personnel practices. My background is in HR. And then I went through 2 years of horrific bullying that landed me in the mental health ward for 3 days. And so, you know, the book talks about everything that happened to me, and it was pretty lengthy, all the different things that happened to me. But, you know, it was really a gift. It was a gift, again, in the ugly wrapping paper, right? Because it was that third day in the mental health ward. I'm like, this is crazy. You know, this is not who I am, and I'm more of a bully to myself than anybody's ever been to me. And then, you know, I checked myself out and, you know, worked on my inner self and got my act together. And then, boom, I'm, you know, out there writing a book on radio shows, doing magazine interviews, coaching, went to coaching school on Wayne Dyer's show, not his show, his stage last year in Fort Lauderdale, Writing from the Soul. I got called up to talk. So, Yeah, that's what it's all about. Ugly wrapping paper, accept the gift, and run with it.
Well, the School of Hard Knocks is a tough teacher, but a powerful teacher, and so your coaching is coming from a personal journey that has a lot of depth and overcoming a lot of stuff. It sounds like it's going to be a powerful book. So let me just recap real quick here. So we've been talking with Dawn Westmoreland, who is really talking about not giving away your personal power and the cost to your life of doing that. And we talked about three things. We talked about the importance of keeping your personal power, the importance of really understanding the value of coaching and exploring what coaching can do for you in your life, and then really understanding that pain and suffering are optional. They're a mind game, essentially, and that your attitude has an awful lot to do with what you do with that. So if you find that you're resonating with Dawn's message here, if you're intrigued by the book that she was just talking about, here's what you should do. Her book, The Empowered Whistleblower, is coming out very shortly, and you can go to the website, theempoweredwhistleblower.com. Funny how the site and the book have the same name there, Dawn. That's very clever. It's easy to remember. So head on over to theempoweredwhistleblower.com, get connected with Dawn Westmoreland, get the book, and explore whether Dawn is somebody that's going to really help you out as well, because she certainly got a powerful story. So Dawn, it's been great having you today on Expert Showcase. Hope you've enjoyed being here.
I have. Thank you so much, Mark.
And another great Expert Showcase episode. Chris, what should people do right now?
Yeah, if you're watching this and you're a coach or consultant, imagine what it would do for you and your business if you were a guest on Experts Showcase. And here's the best part. Other than possibly increasing your business, an appearance on Experts Showcase is free. We give you a copy of your episode so you can use as marketing collateral, and we give you a coaching session to go along with it to tell you how you can best market your episode and other tips and tricks about your business. So what you want to do is head on over to expertshowcase.com, click on the big yellow apply button, and apply to be our next featured guest on the Expert Showcase. Now, if you're a coach or consultant and you've already imagined what having your own internet talk show will do for you, then we want you to head to VideoContent.Agency and check us out, check our packages out, and get in contact with us. Let's see if we're a good fit, and let's see if we're the ones to produce you and make you the next star and have your own internet talk show. And until next time, Mark, anything else?
I couldn't have said it any better, so just do what he said.